began in campus, and that's why when you see UoN and Sonu and the politics that they have now, and you just look at the dynamics of the politics there, it's not normal politics like you'd say, oh, we have a monitor, we have a rep of this campus and the other one. It's high scale sort of politics, which of course you cannot leave out the element that it also borders on national politics, because we have guys who have interest, we have the government, and of course there's the opposition looking at 2017 in a situation whereby you're saying the city belongs to the opposition right now, and Babu, being who he is, we can see where he's leaning towards, and he's already said, I'm going to politics 2017, and you can of course start to see why the differences are playing, and why the students now are being pulled into it, because I don't think really the students are the real cause of this case.
This is very interesting, Stevens, that you're talking about where the city is leaning, considering, by the way, this guy has friends on both sides of the divide. You saw him right after what happened. He posted that he's been democratically elected, never mind that there was a 1K issue just before that. It was on video. But then something small. That's what Babu says. I will give them something small.
Although he did come on Tuesday, and to his defense, he was saying that particular video was taken long before. It was not during the election. But of course, you still would question the thinking and the psyche behind, distributing money to people.
Then after that, he went on to write that he is democratically elected because he was better than Mike Jacobs by over the 10,000 votes. And then he said that meanwhile, as you're still making a lot of noise, remember that Baba has endorsed me for Embakasi, 2017, and he has also said that in 2022 he's looking at being the governor of Nairobi, and then he's looking afterwards to become the president of this country. Very interesting, because then that is actually really where he begins, and he's very bold in the way he puts things across when he sits and he says anything. And the other one is a little bit make. Yesterday I was watching him, but they're not cut from different clothes. They're the same, by the way. They're the same.
Actually, let me tell you something. That's where I was coming to. You can tell how the leadership of one's quality just where they are. There's this saying, is it even a Bible verse, that to whom much is given, much is required, right? So at this level where you are the president or the representative at the university level, if these are the issues that are coming up during your time, and this is how you are handling them, dear Lord, what will we do when we give you a city or a country to run? I am so scared, because literally you can judge, you cannot judge, but you can see someone for who they are at the current position, And the thing is, Michael, you began by asking, are these tomorrow's leaders? And the thing is, university is a very special time in generally in one's life, because it builds you. And if these are the leaders that we're building straight from university, I am so scared for them in general.
And for me, what it makes me think and do is reflect and ask myself the question, how do they become leaders? Because at the end of the day, it is us who puts them there. So what does that say about us?
Also us as a society,
yes,
right?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
No, they were elected by students. There was, actually there was an election.
Of course, yes. the students are the society, for that matter, when it comes to Sonu and all that. And I think the bigger picture again becomes why is, and I think that's been the question among many people, why is Babu still clinging on there 3 years on and 4 years on?
According to him, he says that he had actually not wanted to be the Sonu chairman this time, but the people, the people have forced it. And right now, even Joshua Arap Sang, he's going for a senatorial or gubernatorial seat, and his reason is also the people.
Exactly. I was going to say, where did we hear that from before? We've had it with Museveni, we've had it with Mugabe, and now literally we're going to hear it with the younger leaders that, no, people want me.
I
saw that one where there was Museveni, there is Mugabe,
and then like a movie sort of thing coming through. And that's it sounds very familiar. Where else have I had it? With our very own politicians who are currently running the continent right now as we speak. I mean, really, I feel like if you are honestly the leader that is expected of society, when your term comes, you will genuinely step back and let someone carry on out of goodwill.
No, they are rogue leaders. Trust me. I mean, and for him, he just has got to be there. Plus, also, again, like Stephen says, also the students are the society here, and they're the ones really going out there and electing this guy. Because did you see where he was saying, comrade something, Warembo something, and those, you know, he has this way with words, interestingly, and those people are always cheering him up. Remember when Obama was coming and he said that he's going to ban, you know, he's going to, they're banning something if he doesn't go to UoN. And they went and banned it. And then the other day he said he's going to, when the Pope was coming, he had a list of apparently some priests who have been, you know, have been giving them sleepless nights because they're taking their buys. The guy is mad, and yet the University of Nairobi students love his madness.
I know.
So we get the people we deserve.
You know, then what is also so sad is that as a parent, I know I've taken my child to the university to learn. I have spent this amount of school fees for you to get your education. Then you go and you ban chairs, you ban the whatever, you just, you know, vandalize. You know what happens? That expense comes back to parents' pockets. That's another thing we forget. When you're going to vandalize all these things, your parents are the ones who are paying at the end of the day.
But you know what we're back to? We're back to that mentality of greed that we're talking about on the environment, because it's me, myself, and I, nobody else. So even when that student is throwing stones, they really don't care about the parent. They really don't care that Chase Bank has closed and he has to hustle. And look
your
for
parents
them.
at work getting that money for you to go study in school, and you're vandalizing and still going to come back to your school fees.
It's a vicious circle that somehow our systems are just failing. Let's remember that Babu actually said the other day that he only earns 6,000 shillings as you know, whatever he spent millions. Yes, as the president of SONU, he earns 6K. So is 6K worth the chaos that we have now seen,
and the beating that the students have received?
Yes, and the people who are now not in school.
That video that was going round, and I don't know if we have that video, where we had GSU guys literally beating up, according to those who posted it, they were saying it was students. But of course, the government has come out through the spokesman and through a police officer to say that there is no validity in that video, and it was probably taken a long time before, and it is not real. So of course, again, we are back to, will justice be done?
I know, it's like when you have sugar and your mother tells you Zinzi, you're from stealing sugar, and you're like, no, where is your evidence?
I don't even need sugar.
No, you don't need that. It can be salt.
That's how I feel.
Sugar, even salt looks like sugar.
Like, there's a video, people, there is a video showing it, and you're telling me, nah, that didn't happen. So am I seeing my own things all of a sudden?
You're not seeing your own things, but what they're saying is that it's the timing. Just like Babu saying that the money he was distributing was not for elections, they're also saying that there's nobody who has verified that this video was actually taken at this time. It could have been taken long before.
It's crazy, but and you know, it wasn't funny. If you look at that video and the photos that we saw, I would say, for lack of a better word, students be really mishandled by police and all that. And when you just interfere with students who are already aggrieved in a situation like that, where they think it's me versus you and it's my people against yours, I think you just make it very worse. For me, if the police would have just become and let things settle down, because they were to at some point, I think that should have and could have been settled.
But you see, we'll also still blame the police, because now when the students go and burn down their own hostels, I mean, what are the police supposed to do? At the end of the day, it's almost catch-22.
We are going back to the same thing of the lion again. You want to make it worse instead of try to solve it. You want to kill the lion instead of try to do something that's better that we can do.
Tranquilize it.
So exactly.
We could do
and
I guess then what they should do is get the police to buy tranquilizers.
To tranquilize the students.
They just say they could have handled it better. They could have done it
but bottom line, well, it's terrible that the campus has closed, and like you say, parents have to go deep again into the pockets. Students are home, guys. We are waiting for the exams now.
I love
exams. So
I love how people played with it. Kenyans, I love Kenyans. So they said, in fact, one of your friends here said, it's okay. You've now closed school. This is a good time. If you're coming from the mountain areas, then just to know that it's planting time. So by the time you just arrive, the parent is like, hey, Sasa, you know, you have been resting for a while.
Please can you
And speaking about that, there's also a photo of of Babu and, you know, his fellow students. Babu is going to SA, and then they're going back to the village. So the contrast of both sides.
Of the things you actually do for your leaders,
and you're there.
You still remain in the same position. So it's playing up the same way it would play in the national politics. Because you remember when people really made so much noise during the post-election violence, which I'm sure we're coming to.
Yes.
And then
Politicians flew out.
Them
and their families.
And
we made we couldn't get out of the house.
Honestly,
it's a sad reality.
And now as we wind up on that, I remember there was a picture, meme that was going round where you have the university students on one side and you have Babu on the other side. The students are on their way home, probably going to get into a mat and hustle to get home. He's on his way to the States. Bottom line, or the moral of the story is, at the end of the day, sometimes we fight for people whose reason and cause is not for us.
They don't.
So come 2017, honestly, we need to make sure that we're also selfish in a way. And by selfish, I mean we put leaders that care for us.
For the society at
large. For the society,
yes.
Exactly, as opposed to themselves. But of course, now that brings us to the next big story, which was the ICC ruling, which was on Tuesday, where finally it's almost like a cloud that was lifted. But was it lifted for all of us, or was it just a few individuals?
You know what I say? If Ruto and Sang are innocent, you know, well done for them. It's the last thing we want to do is have someone else in jail. You know, have you ever seen those stories where someone goes to jail for 30 years, then later in the court realize, oh my gosh, you know, we did the wrong thing. So if Sang and Ruto are genuinely innocent, you know what, I say well done for them, congratulations, especially the lawyers. We put up a, you know, one heck of a fight. But then the question comes back, what was ICC doing for 6 years? You're telling me the post-election violence victims are not going to see anything? I mean, it didn't happen by its own. It didn't. People are displaced. People have health conditions that are going to have to live with for long. People died. We lost. Blood was shed. So you're telling me all that happened by itself? ICC, what was the purpose of it? You know, it's
the law.
But then again, Zinzi, when we think about it, and this is what other people are arguing, is that are we going to have two individuals pay for what happened, especially if we cannot prove it beyond any reasonable doubt that they were involved? But of course, the sad and the tragic thing is the fact that this happened. We have more than 1,000 Kenyans who died. There are others who are displaced. There are others who are maimed. Others who are
still displaced, by the way.
Yes, still displaced.
Almost 10 years
what we are
later.
saying is nobody did it.
Exactly.
It just happened by...
And that's what I'm saying.
It's not that nobody did it. The thing is this. You say there is a movie that is very interesting, where I'm sure you probably have watched it. There is a movie, and there will be. There's a movie starring really interesting people. In fact, Maria Carey's ex. Yes, it's called Tirak, and if you have watched it, it's very interesting because people were being gunned down, and you can say it, but you don't speak out. You know, you saw them, you know who did what, but you are not, you know, you don't stand up and speak out. Now, the reason why we cannot have justice for anybody else is because we just expected that because these people were already caught, then they're the ones who are going to pay for this. Surely you don't expect two people to go and pay for the atrocities that happened to everybody else. Somebody knows somebody who carried a machete. Somebody knows somebody who had a meeting and went and had all this. Somebody knows who went and touched something. But everybody shut up on that day, and nobody up to now went. Remember when they called the alleged victims? Then they went, and then they had that veil. It was like, I don't remember. I don't know. No, that was not accurate. I wasn't even there. And you're like, this thing happened, and no.
To add to her point, I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, we didn't just have any court looking into this. We had the International Criminal Court. When you hear that, you know, this is a structure that is going to work. These people have serious investigators. I mean, there's a certain standard we put them up to. You know, it's the ICC. So we expected results as Kenyans. I think that's the sad part. We expected results. 6 years later,
the results would have been any other way. The results that we have found now means that there is nobody within the ones they got that actually did anything. So we accept those results.
I think this case flopped a long time ago when we had of Basha Ocampo, and that's like 6 years ago.
Oh, that song though.
Giuliani made his money.
That song though.
It's a good thing.
Basha Ocampo, but seems there's a bit of truth in it.
But again, even as the cases calm down and we forget about ICC, and Kenya has been all over trying to tell Africa, let's get out of this system. And I don't think this show is going to give us a platform to talk politics, because these guys we are not going that direction. But what I'm saying is the results and the reactions that we are seeing since the is it a ruling was done the other day, is one end of